Hey everybody, Kyle Goth here from GoatFilmReviews.com and the Goat Film Reviews YouTube channel, and I've got my quick thoughts about the new film You Hurt My Feelings, directed by Nicole Holofcener. I think I'm saying it right. And this is starring Julia Louis-Dreyfus and Tobias Menzies as a couple who have basically, they're very warm and loving in their relationship, but they both come to realize, specifically on Julia Louis-Dreyfus's part, that her husband has been lying to her about what he thinks of her new book. She's a writer. So it's I would say a dramedy. I wouldn't say full-fledged comedy or drama, but a dramedy. There's some really clever witticisms that don't feel out of place too often, but what took me was the overall performances of the specifically the two in the lead cast, but I think the entire cast does a pretty good job. But Julia Louis-Dreyfus is awesome, and I think she's awesome in quite a lot, but she's never really risen to the level where, I mean, she deserves to have some Oscar recognition at this point in her career because but unfortunately she hasn't found many film roles that have just suited her. But this is one of them I think she does great. And I'm also a big fan of Tobias Menzies, and I'm glad to see him getting the opportunity to flex a couple of different acting muscles because, you know, if you've seen him on Game of Thrones or Outlander, he's always played this kind of weak, stumbling, mumbling, you know, kind of villain or loser, depending on how you're going to look at it. I thought he did a really great job in the one-season anthology series, The Terror, and it's really cool to see him excelling at something outside the box. He still kind of has the same, you know, mannerisms that he did in those other films, but he's flexing a different kind of acting performance here, and I really like Tobias Menzies in the film. He's probably not going to get talked about come award season, but I think he's definitely worth discussing. Rest of the cast, I think, does great. Holofcener always has these screenplays that have a really nice cadence to them and the way that they're maneuvered. My one criticism of the film, well, I guess I have two small criticisms. I think the third act of the film does feel like it loses steam a little bit. And there's kind of a couple of those like Lord of the Rings style endings where the film would have been good to cut right here, and then we have another scene, and that scene is important, I guess, but it felt like a better ending where we were. There's also the sense that this movie plays out a little bit like a stage play. It feels like the writing feels like it's a play. Like it feels like it's being read and being performed. It's maybe, there's a lot of, you know, things where characters will start out by saying, "Tell me about your day, Bob." Like, and it just doesn't feel authentic. It feels, it feels like I'm watching a movie. I wasn't ever convinced that I was in these people's lives, and that was disappointing. But overall, I really liked the movie. It's just those certain elements of, like, sometimes the film felt like a play, and there were times during the third act that lost a little bit of steam, but performance-wise, I think the movie is very strong, and I think it's well worth your time. This is a movie about support systems, and being a writer myself, knowing how important support systems are to writers and creatives and artists of any kind, it's really nice to have a film that examines that, because we don't really see that too often as an examination. To showcase the idea that sometimes, like, the worst thing to a creative is someone telling them you're doing a great job. And yet at the same time, it's kind of something that we all need in our lives, is support and the ability to move forward. And yet it's not a very helpful thing if you're a creative and you need honest feedback. So I really appreciated that about the film, and it made me really kind of sit and mull with those questions and answers, and appreciate a lot of the situations that I myself have been in that the characters are also in this film as well. So I enjoyed the film. A couple of little missteps there, but I did enjoy it overall. So look for my full review later on GoatFilmReviews.com. You can also find Goat Film Reviews on Facebook. You can follow me personally at Almighty Goatman on Twitter, Instagram, and Letterboxd. And you can check out my show, Kyle and Nick on Film, that I co-host with Nick Plotachuk from the St. Paul Filmcast. All of those links are down in the description. Make sure you head down there, like, subscribe, and comment with your thoughts on You Hurt My Feelings as well. I'd love to hear it. I'd love to read it, and love to engage with you further down in the comment section. Thank you, guys. We'll see you later.